This is what my life has been like. In one word, escapism. Constant escapism. I have constantly been seeking to distract myself and relieve myself from unpleasant reality. My theme resolution for this year was consistency, so I guess I am doing it, right? But jokes aside, it has become a huge issue. The pandemic has forced every single one of us into self-isolation and into quarantining ourselves. It has thrown me off the momentum I had when I started practicing my New Year's resolutions. It has thrown me off from my usual schedule, and the work-life boundaries have become blurred. So I have resorted to my default unhealthy behavior for coping with stress. Escaping my reality by consuming media 24/7. Obviously, this is no way of living, so we need to remember that we need to persevere in the midst of these challenging times. As St. Paul says in 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 8, we are hard-pressed on every side, but not crushed, perplexed, but not in despair, persecuted, but not abandoned, struck down, but not destroyed. Even though we have been thrown into this novel situation, we still have this gift that we call life, and we are meant to live it out. But if you're feeling like your life is getting out of control, just like I have been feeling, then here are 3 important things you need to keep you sane during this pandemic. Number 1, keep a routine. I think Jordan Peterson says it best in this little video clip.
No one can live without a routine. You just forget that. If you guys don't have a routine, I would recommend, you get one going, because you cannot be mentally healthy without a routine.
We are creatures of habit because we feel safe in whatever is familiar. So even during this pandemic, we need to continue with our familiar routines. Waking up at the same time we would usually in our ordinary circumstances, have our meal times at the usual times, and winding down before bed with our usual nighttime routine. Of course, we need to also consider what was not part of our lives for most of us before COVID-19, which is the fact that we do our studies and work remotely from home. So therefore, we need to establish a new sort of routine to prep us up into work mode and then ease us out into leisure mode. This can be done when you would usually drive to work or take public transport. Choose an activity that you can identify as the beginning and the end of your workday, like listening to a podcast of your field of work or setting yourself up at your working desk. It will be a bit hard at the beginning, but this is how we make do in the meantime. And we will be able to hopefully solidify this habit after a few days of intentionally practicing our routines. Which brings me to number 2, increase mindfulness. When I say mindfulness, I don't mean the meditation sort of practice, although it does help when you start getting stressed, anxious, or overwhelmed. To be mindful means to be conscious or aware, and this takes intentionality. Being intentional with how we spend our time, being intentional with the tasks we want to set out to complete, being intentional with the way we be productive for work and study, and even being intentional with the way that we take care of our own selves in our body, heart, mind, and soul. But beyond being intentional, mindfulness requires us to become fully aware with our present moment. What is in front of me? What is happening right here, right now? What is within my control at this very moment? And also, mindfulness requires us to become fully aware with what is going on presently in our own selves. What am I feeling? What are the thoughts running through my head? What is blocking me at this very moment? Rather than suppressing whatever is happening within us through escapism, through mindfulness, we allow ourselves to be vulnerable without judging ourselves. which leads us to number 3. Be compassionate with yourself. It's okay to not be okay. How many times have we heard that? But how many more times do we actually allow ourselves to not be okay? This is where the tendency of escapism comes in, but that's a whole nother video. Point being, sometimes we tend to escape our reality when it causes us to feel stress, anxiety, or overwhelmed, rather than just admit, accept, and embrace that we are stressed, we are anxious, we are overwhelmed. Maybe we are hurt or in pain. Maybe we are trying our best, but we may be feeling like it just doesn't feel like it's enough. It's during these moments when we feel this way that we need to allow ourselves some space to heal. It is okay to not feel the best, and sometimes we just need to give ourselves a break. If it's hard to get back into routine, don't worry, you're not alone. It's hard for all of us, especially within this new circumstance. If it's hard to want to live your present moment, it's okay. You are allowed to feel upset about the lifestyle you've lost. These are hard times. For some, it is harder than for others. But we are all in this together. Literally together, because we are living similar circumstances now. And metaphorically together because, well, social distancing. And in the midst of all this, we need to always remember, God is always with us. Yes, we do the best we can, but in the times where we may feel small and vulnerable, we need to remember, He is right there to provide us with the strength we need to continue on in this situation. As you go about your day or night, remember Isaiah chapter 41, verse 10. So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand.